In nature, every species has a role to play, but some have the power to shape entire ecosystems. One such species is the wolf, an apex predator whose impact goes far beyond the hunt. When wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park in 1995 after being absent for nearly 70 years, no one could have predicted the profound transformation they would bring, not just to the wildlife, but to the very rivers themselves. For decades, elk populations in Yellowstone had grown unchecked without their natural predator. Overgrazing by these herbivores caused significant damage to vegetation, especially in areas near rivers and streams. Without plants to stabilize the soil, riverbanks eroded, and the rivers became wider and shallower. The entire ecosystem began to suffer. But when wolves returned, everything changed. Wolves hunted elk, but more importantly, they altered their behavior. Elk began to avoid certain areas, especially valleys and riverbanks, where they were more vulnerable. With fewer elk grazing near rivers, vegetation like willows, aspens, and cottonwoods began to thrive again. These plants provided food and shelter for a variety of species, from birds to beavers. Beavers, in particular, benefited from the regrowth. They used the newly abundant trees to build dams, creating ponds that became habitats for fish, amphibians, and other wildlife. These dams also slowed down water flow, reducing erosion and creating more stable river systems. As vegetation returned and beaver activity increased, the rivers themselves changed. They became more stable, their courses less prone to shifting. Clearer, deeper waters supported a richer variety of aquatic life. All of this, brought about by the return of a single species, demonstrates the power of a trophic cascade, where changes at the top of the food chain ripple down to affect everything below. The story of wolves and rivers is a reminder of how interconnected nature is. By protecting predators like wolves, we don't just save them, we help restore entire ecosystems, proving that even the smallest changes can lead to the greatest transformations.